Hey everybody, in this tutorial I want to show you how to customize the theme that you've chosen and how to add a few plugins to make your life a little bit easier with WordPress. So here I am in the appearance under appearance and themes, and so obviously this is where you can choose the theme that you'd like. I just chose this one, Magazine Elite, and when you choose a theme, not only do you have to install it, but you actually have to activate it, as I showed you in prior um, tutorials. So I'm going to go ahead and visit the site in one tab, and then I'm going to have here in the back end still open. So this is how my site looks once I apply that theme. Now it doesn't look always exactly like the theme thumbnail will look, and so there are some things that you can do to make it look a little bit more like that. But definitely the first thing that you should do anytime you choose a theme is to click on the details and then go back to the original website that this theme came from, and that is where they will often have documentation and support, because oftentimes people have already tried to figure out how to solve a lot of the problems you're trying to solve, and there's probably a lot of forums already out there that will help solve your problem. So I'm going to click here on documentation, and this particular theme, it has all kinds of different options when it comes to documentation. You have to just find the theme that you're looking for, and I think mine was this in Magazine Elite. And anyway, once you click on it, it should take you to the documentation for that particular site. So it'll show you how to install it, how the requirements, and then often they'll have these tutorials to show you a little bit more about the theme. So often that's the hardest part, is to not just choose a theme, but getting support and getting the help that you need to actually customize it. So that'd be the first place that I would go when you're trying to customize it. Oftentimes those sliders on the home page work because of posts, and sometimes they work because of pages, and sometimes you have to actually add slides. And so each theme is unique and different, and the first place to go is to look here back where the theme author will give you a link. Once you've done that, you can also click here on Customize. This should be your best friend when you're trying to customize your theme. It's going to provide you with all of the different areas, like your logo, your tagline. You can upload all those things here, even if you wanted a what's called a fave icon, and that's going to be up in the tab here. That's what would appear there. You've also got header images, and basically your custom area will look a little bit different depending on what theme you've chosen. And when you do choose a theme, I ask you to filter to themes that have full widths, and also themes that offer theme options. And if you chose one that has extra theme options, then you'll see even more options here, and so that will help you as well in customizing your theme. As you can see, every theme is a little bit different, and will take some time to get to know it. And so don't expect to get to your site to look exactly the way that you want it to right at the get-go. It will take some time. So once you've done that, there are also some plugins that you can install, and over here it says install plugin. I'm sorry, down here where it says plugins, there are a few plugins that I will want you to install. Plugins are basically add-ons or extra features that will help your site run more smoothly or add more interactivity. And for this particular theme, you'll see it says this theme recommends the following plugins. If you see this here, you'll definitely want to install those plugins first. So I'm going to go ahead and press begin installing plugins. All of these will install if I just choose bulk actions install, or you could do them one by one. I'm going to go ahead and press apply, and it's going to basically show you that it's installed them all. Okay, so now when I go back down to plugins, I should see them all here, and I'm also going to want to make sure they're activated. So activate, and I can just select them all and then go ahead and press activate, and that will activate all my plugins. Now, those were recommended by the theme creators, and when I go back to the plugins area, they're all, let's go ahead and activate that one. Don't know why that didn't get added, but those will help you a lot in getting extra features on your site. Once you've done that, we can also add new plugins, and there's a few that I'm going to want you to add. A couple in the next tutorial. We'll show you how to add a child theme plugin and also Google Fonts plugin to give you some Google fonts on your site. But a couple that I want to show you today are this one called Shortcodes Ultimate. Shortcodes Ultimate. S-H-O-R-T, Shortcodes Ultimate. And it is this icon here. I'm going to go ahead and press install and activate. Once you install it, you have to activate it just like you would with a theme. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to go and search for, let's see, add a new one. Yet another plugin that I want you to add is called Yoast SEO. That's going to help with your search engine optimization. And I'm going to go ahead and install that one. Okay, so those are two plugins that we're going to use for now. Now when I go to the pages and say I go to my About page and I start customizing it, now I have access to this button here that says Insert Shortcode. And what that's going to do is it's going to give me access to basically everything from the Bootstrap project that we had just worked on. And you can add everything from columns to different layouts on different pages. You can add buttons, just like we had from the Bootstrap site. You can add a little mini menu. You can add a slider or a carousel, just like we did for the Bootstrap slideshow. You can add a gallery, and there are all kinds of really great added additions that you can put on the site. So something like, let's just try this one called accordion. Okay, that would be good for if I had like an FAQ or something like that. And so you'll see that what happens is it's going to add it in this language called shortcodes. Shortcodes act similar to HTML tags in that it's got an opening bracket and a closing bracket, and inside is the actual content. Okay, so every bracket that opens also needs to close, just like you would for HTML. And basically what this did is it gave us some practice content that we can now edit and customize to our own needs. So I'm going to go ahead and press Insert Shortcodes, and then I'm going to make a little space there. So this says SU Shortcodes Ultimate Accordion, and I'm going to space this out a little bit so you can see it a little bit better as you would if you were doing this like for HTML. So you can see this bracket opens, it's opening the accordion, and down here it's closing the accordion. Here I have kind of like a list item, the UL, right? And so you have a list items in the UL or the OL. Here's my SU spoiler opening, SU spoiler closing, and then same here, I've got opening, whoops, open and close, open and close. So if I were to just update this and look at my About page, go back here, click on the About page, you'll see that it created this little spoiler, okay? So now obviously I would want to go back into that site and start customizing this. Now I messed up a little bit on my code, the bracket disappeared slowly, but so here where it says spoiler title, that's maybe where I would want to ask my question. If this was like an FAQ question 1, and then here I would write answer 1. Update that, refresh it, and now instead of saying spoiler title, it says question 1, and I can toggle that. And also it says open no, and you can kind of guess what that means is when the page loads, do you want this spoiler to be opened or closed? And right now, when the page runs, the spoiler by default will be closed, meaning the answer will not be showing. But if you do want that first one, you just type in yes. Just press update and then refresh, and now that by default starts as the first open question, which I think would be good for the user, definitely to kind of get some, get the first answer, and then they can keep going if they want to. Now another thing about pages is you'll see that this page has a comment section, and I really don't want that comment section to be open on my pages because that might be good for a blog, but it's not really great for a website. So I'm going to go back into my page interface here, and up here at the top it says Screen Options. And we can go ahead and let all of these boxes be viewed. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow us to have more options down here. And down here in our page editor, we're going to see some new things pop up. Now down here, once you've checked all the boxes at the top, you're going to see these checkboxes open for discussion. And we do not want to allow discussion on this page, so I'm going to unclick those. And I recommend that you do not allow discussion on any of your pages, except maybe if you were on a contact page and you did want people to respond with their comments. But generally, I would recommend that you don't allow comments on your pages. So go ahead and all the pages you create, disallow the comments there. Oftentimes within your page editor, you'll also see, I don't see it here, but if you are working with a theme that has different layouts, for example, on the right, you might see something that says templates, and you can choose from different templates that will sometimes allow you to have a full width or sidebars. You'll see by default this one has a right sidebar, and I don't think there's much I can do about that. Again, I would have to look in the documentation of the theme to see if I can change that or not, but again, that's something that you'll have to look up. Now, that was the first shortcode that we added. Again, you can add, just kind of look through these and find, cool features that you might want to add to your pages. Everything from tables to, service button, a service box, if you have different services, or, YouTube, and those are responsive YouTube embed codes and things like that, or audio if you want to add that. So this is a very useful tool because it kind of merges our world of Bootstrap and what we're doing here with WordPress. So let's try a columns one really quick. So let me go ahead and add that. And you'll see how this works too, is it's creating a column opening and then a column closing. And it's telling you how big the size is. So if this is half and half, obviously that'll be, split right down the middle. And if I do insert shortcode, let's see, it popped up here. And if I press update, I should now be able to refresh the page, and you should see this to be half and half, right? So half of the column here and half of the column here. Now, the sidebar is kind of messing things up because it's only taking the width of the main article area and not the full width of the entire page. And so that's something that you might have to work out in trying to figure out how to allow or disallow the sidebar on different pages, but you can see it did work. It's half and half. Now I could change that to be, let's try, something like 3/4 and 1/4. You can imagine that that would make it 75% and 25%. So when I refresh this, you can see now this column is taking up 75%, and this one's only taking 25%. It's a little bit smushed because of the sidebar, but I think you get the idea. So this is similar to Bootstrap, and it works similar. So you got the row, and then you've got the column, and sometimes you might want to break, extend these shortcodes out so you can understand how the code works a little bit more, but it works really well, and because you have such a good extensive knowledge of Bootstrap, I think you'll pick right up on that. Now you also have obviously everything from the toolbar, and that's how the Shortcodes Ultimate plugin works. And you can't see this until you install that Shortcodes Ultimate plugin. The other plugin I wanted you to install was the Yoast SEO plugin. And this allows you to, it gives you tips on how to make your site a little bit more search engine friendly. And so right now it's saying there's no focus keyword. So if I was doing a site all about open carry on campus, I would want to use that word again and again throughout my site, and then that focus keyword would, if it was all about open carry, was the focus keyword that I wanted to use, and then I would probably use it about open carry. And then if I use it a couple times here in the text, we should see that update down here. Okay, so you'll also see different options for meta description. That's important for browsers to read. So we can also add that kind of content in here. We've also got different options for sharing, and how if this was shared to Facebook, you can add your own special title and description for Facebook and even an image. if any of this was used. It'll also give you tips on readability and all that kind of stuff. So use that to your advantage. Use the tips that it's talking about. You can edit some of these snippets and you can tell it exactly how to modify the meta description. This is important because it is what the bots are looking for when it's trying to understand what your website's about. So it's not just looking at the title, it's not just looking at your content, but it's also looking at this meta description as well. So anyway, that can help you with search engine optimization. In the next couple of videos, I want to show you more about plugins. One, I'm going to show you about the child theme and also how to add Google Fonts to your site as well.